Now that you've created your NoodleTools login, I'm going to show you the different forms that you're going to use to create your bibliography online. It's really important that you use Google Chrome when you're using NoodleTools, so be sure that you're in Chrome. When you created your account, you clicked on Create a Personal ID, but every time after that, you're going to fill in your ID and your password down in these boxes instead. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a new project. You're going to click on where it says Junior, and the description is the title of our project. This is your dashboard. This is probably the only time you're going to be on this screen. Everything that we need is under the word bibliography at the top of your screen. And then this drop down right here is where you find all of the forms that will help you create your bibliography. So I'm going to go through the parts from your Weebly, starting with part A, which is where you found websites such as Teaching Tolerance. All of the parts in part A, all of the sources in part A were websites. So I'm going to click on website, I'm going to click on create citation, and then we're going to simply fill in the boxes with the information that we've written down on our bibliography fill-in sheet. So for me, I use Teaching Tolerance. Teaching Tolerance is also the publisher of my website. It gives me the date of access, which is the date I looked at this website, and it always puts today's date, which is helpful if you looked at it today, but I did not look at Teaching Tolerance today. I looked at it on Monday, so I'm going to change that date. And then the date of the publication is when this article, when this website was published, the part that I'm looking at. If it gives you a month and a day and a year, that's great. You can fill it all in. But if it only gives you one bit of information, maybe it only gives you the year, then that's all you can put in. So just put in the information that it gives you. When you put in the URL, you can stop at the .com or the .org. If your web page had an author, you're going to put their name here. Your web page should have an article title, and that should have been listed at the top. And then the annotation box at the bottom, we're going to leave blank. So this is ready to go. I'm going to click on Submit, and then it appears in my bibliography list. So that's what you're going to do for a website. So this would be for any of the sites in Part A and in Part C if you looked for a website. Now we're going to look at Part B, which was if you had a magazine or a newspaper article. There's two different ones to choose from, magazine or newspaper. Let's say I had a newspaper article. I'm going to click Create Citation. If you get a screen that looks like this, you want to check the Hide This Newspaper Help screen at the bottom and click Continue. Now this gets a little more tricky. There's a lot more options once you get to magazines and newspapers. We found this newspaper and this magazine on a database, so we're going to click Database. The name of my database is Newspaper Source Plus, and sometimes it recognizes those sources, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. Again, when did you look at that site? I looked at this site on a different date than today, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to put in what my URL is. I'm going to put in the author of that newspaper article. I don't have anything about the section or the pages. I'm just going to leave that blank. The only information that you have to fill in is where there's a red asterisk. So if you don't have some of the information, you just simply leave it blank. Again, I put in the dates if I have them. For this one, I have all of the dates. I don't have an edition, and again, I leave the big annotation box blank, and I click Submit. And then this one shows up in my list. So now I have 2 different sources in my bibliography list. Okay, the next one I want to show you is probably the trickiest one, and this one is from Part A. It's if you used Encyclopedia Britannica. Some students get kind of lost in the forms to choose from here, so what I want you to remember is Britannica is an encyclopedia, so look for the word encyclopedia, and it's under where it says reference source. Look for the word encyclopedia, click on that, click Create Citation. This one is similar to the magazine newspaper form in that it gives you lots of options at the top. You want to make sure you're on the database form. And this one was an e-publication, so be sure to click that little box. So for this one, I used Britannica. That was also my vendor. I'm going to change the date I looked at it. This one did not give me a month and a day. It only gave me a year. So I'm going to type that in. Again, stopping at the .com. I did not have an author for this article, so I'm going to leave that blank. I did have an article title. It was what it was at the top of the page. I did not have page numbers. I did not have other names. It is an encyclopedia. And again, it's titled Britannica. And I'm going to leave the annotation box blank. And I click Submit. So now I have 3 sources in my bibliography list. The last one is if you did a video. There's 2 different video options on NoodleTools. The one that most of you are going to use is video clip online. This is if you went to YouTube or you found a news article that had a video attached that you wanted to watch. A few of you may use this one, which is if you watched an entire video recording, maybe an entire news program or a DVD of some sort, or an entire show that was like 30, 45, or even an hour long. But most of you are just going to have 5 or 6 minute clips. So I'm going to click on that. And then this one, we're back to not having very many options, which is kind of nice. So the name of the website for this one probably is going to be YouTube for a lot of yours. The publisher of the site, it depends if you have a publisher or not. You would put that. If you don't, if they don't list it, then leave it blank. Put when you access it. Put the year and any information it gives you, if it gives you something. Put the title. It does require you to put title. If it gives you the names, if it gives you the creator, things like that, you'll put that here. Sometimes you have to look on the actual footage to see that. It doesn't always list it on the computer screen, like underneath a YouTube clip or on a newspaper site with a video. So look for it on the actual video itself if it's not included on the screen. Leave annotation blank and click Submit. And then this is your completed bibliography. Watch the next video to show how to print this so that you can turn it in with your paper.